Hey everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful time. Today I'm going to share my experience of using musician audio Pisces DDC, which is a digital audio interface that reduces the noise from especially from USB inputs using music servers or your laptop computer or your standard computers. Windows computer, you will need the USB driver, but for the Linux and Mac you don't need any driver. It's just a plug and play. Also features the 45.1 and 49.1 megahertz external clock inputs. They sell for around $500 and it has a really good solid chassis and solid footers and very good well designed component that you can have in this price point. For the digital outputs to connect to your DAC, it features the coaxial optical I2S, two different type of I2S, as well as AES connection. But mainly I use the I2S connection using the JIB acoustic HDMI cable and iFi audio supernova power cable connected to this DDC, as well as I try with my laptop computer. So mainly I was using this Sony music server for this review and sound sample. I use this musician owns Aquarius R2 DAC, which is highly capable, one of the best sounding and like totally refined and high quality sounding R2 DAC you can have, which is highly capable. With or without DDC, it will sound great. And as well as I tried a few different DACs that I have in hand. So this DDC I connected with USB A to B from music server, HDMI based I2S cable connected to this DAC, and balance cable connected to my amplifier, which is very simple setup. For the build quality, I have nothing to complain. It uses a very good quality parts. In some ways, in some case, some may say that is this DDC is very similar to like Dina Fripp's Iris DDC. Probably they may be using same factory or supplier for the parts and assembly and everything. So that is nature of this business. I can totally understand, but if you really look at it, it's not exactly the same. They both have the switching plus linear power supply, and the difference is this musician uses the crystal oscillator housing oven temperature control housing, as you will see it here clearly labeled and boxed inside that little silver box on this PCB board, and it well designed. And good thing is this DAC uses a lot of trickle down parts and technology from their higher end offering like Phoenix DDC. Lesser quality in some components such as AC inputs and that kind of minor stuff, but most of the major stuff it uses very same components. So the difference in sound quality will be noticeable, but this one is highly capable of giving you sound improvement over your existing DAC, or especially if you are using R2 or DACs in general. So what I like about this is it has their proprietary technology and know-how built together with the sound quality that it can differentiate from other products. As usual, I started my listening section with this Aquarius DAC connected to my music server, playing with two different speakers. In the end, I end up using the JBL L100 Classic 75th for more resolution and incredible stereo image and soundscape that it can produce. So I started out my listening session with the three of my go-to tracks when I test these kind of components. So one is the Robert Cray Band Out of Eden. Another one is the Dr. John's in a sentimental mode. Another one is the Nails Landgren cover of I Will Survive. So the reason I choose those tracks is the intro instrument placement and stereo image and soundscape and everything. So I really love that Robert Cray band intro. So instruments and each sound placement is incredible and very well defined, and I can totally hear it. So those are the three tracks that I started listening, and as well as a bunch of other tracks. I started listening with this Aquarius DAC, and as usual, I already know how it's going to sound. Then I switch over to USB input to this DDC and connect the I2S to this DAC, and I started the three songs again. As soon as I switch over to this DDC connecting to this Aquarius R2 deck, even this Aquarius deck itself is highly capable, high resolution deck that you can have. As soon as I connect this DDC via I2S HDMI cable, what I can notice is how much it can improve it overall noise floor in the background, as well as like better instrument separation and spacious notes, as well as three-dimensional kind of sound quality and sound reproduction that it can improve. And it also can improve in like stereo image. Stereo image can be more precise and more precision, as well as well-rounded refinements in overall frequency response. For the sound quality, I think this is the good improvement that we can have. If you have good sounding R2 or DACs from Musician Audio or Dina Frips, this Pisces DDC is great addition to improve your sound, and it can shows you actual improvement in micro detail, instrument separations, and like spaciousness and airiness and overall refinement that it can improve, as well as better stereo image and more precise instrument placement and soundscape that I can totally enjoy in my setup. I really love the way they sound together with this Aquarius deck with this Pisces DDC. If you have R2 decks in general, you will have greatly benefited from this kind of DDC, especially if your main playback is computer-based playback system using the USB A to B setup kind of thing, because the USB would always introduce the jitter. For that, this Musician Audio Pisces DDC come with high-speed USB filters that it will reduce the jitter in this setup. It also features the USB chip to play native PCM up to 768K, as well as DSD up to 512, which it can handle it natively. So which is a very good plus that you can have for a little over $500. And sound quality, I have nothing to complain. Then it will be only come down to synergy with your existing deck. Let's say I try with a few different decks, right? After I listen my session with this Aquarius deck for like 45 minutes, and I switch over to Leather Shoeman R2R deck, and I can also hear the improvement. But using the Leather Shoeman deck, overall sound get a bit brighter pairing with this DDC in my system. It's not the best pairing, but I can hear the improvement in overall spaciousness and micro details, but it get a bit brighter. So I removed that Leather Shoeman deck, and I put the Gaster R26 R2 deck. So R26 R2 deck doesn't have a great synergy with this DDC in my system. It get notes are a bit thicker and not as refined as I would love to be as I was using its own. So if you have a Gusted R26, you may as well go with the Gusted's own DDC. So that will have a better synergy. So out of curiosity, I also try with SMS SU10, which is highly capable Delta Sigma deck. So what I notice is soundscape is a bit wider. Background noise is much reduced and much quieter, but it sounds a bit analytic, a little bit dry sounding. So that is my experience using a few different type of decks pairing with this Pisces DDC. Overall performance, sound quality, and sound reproduction for the $500 price range, that is a great improvement. Especially, the micro detail, the elevation of the three-dimensional notes that you can totally hear the improvement. So if you are a really big fan of a Delta Sigma DACs, you may not like the R2R DACs, especially R2R DACs that really designed to have really good analog like sound quality. So those are the things that we have to keep in mind. So R2R DAC, popularity of R2R DACs, and the main purpose of the design and the features and they've been trying to do is try to give you best analog like digital playback. That's the main point of R2R DACs. So I will have the Dina Fritz Pontus 2 R2R DAC review up soon, and probably I will feature this Pisces DDC as well. So that is just my little advice. You have to keep in mind what is your main goal and what is your preference. Every deck, there is no bad sounding deck in general. All synergy dependent, system dependent. Most importantly, your personal taste is one of the main factors when you're making the decision. No matter what I say or no matter what other reviewers said, you have to listen it in your system to see if you like it. So my case with this Pisces DDC in my system, I really like the way they sound because I use the Musician Aquarius R2R deck. The way that it can introduce you another dimension of sound quality, especially in micro detail and three-dimensional soundscape and really good stereo image that it can recreate in your room. So that is my experience, my friend. And then if you are curious about I2S compatibility with other decks, this one has the 8 different types of configuration you can easily change through with this front button using the setup and OK buttons. And you just need to hit it on the right time and get into the setup menu, which they clearly has the good instruction in the owner's manual book. My advice is if you are looking for sound improvement, noise improvements in particular, as well as improving the overall music listening experience, leveling up to next level in high-end audio, this will greatly improve the sound. So if you ask me what kind of percentage that it can improve in overall sound quality, it will be depending on 10 to 15% sound improvement over existing setup, depending on your amplifier, depending on your speakers, as well as cables and everything involved. But generally speaking, you will have at least 10% sound improvement over your whatever the current R2R deck that you may have. But please keep in mind, I would highly recommend you to pair these DDC with the decks from like Dina Fritz or musician owned decks because they will have better synergy than the such as a leather R2R deck or gasket R2R decks, at least in my system. Some may think, why would you add a DDC? So the point is very simple. Let's say you have a favorite deck. You already love the sound. If you just want to improve it, then this is a great option to have this kind of Pisces DDC added to your existing deck setup, such as musician on Aquarius or Pegasus or even Draco. It can greatly improve the sound within your budget. Without spending a lot of money on next upgrade deck. So higher the price you go, most of the R2 or DACs, what they can improve is noise, jitter, that kind of thing. Clarity and everything, it will improve, like substantially if you go really high price at DACs. But the problem is it can get really expensive. So without spending a lot of money, let's say if your budget for digital DAC and playback setup, assuming you already have the music server or the computer to play with, so let's say your budget is around like $1,500, then you can have such as musician owns a Pegasus or even Draco and add this Pisces DDC and connect it via I2S connection, and you will hear the improvement. That is the great synergy that they will have and improvement that you will hear without spending your arms and legs for your digital playback. So that is my advice, my friend. Enjoy your music. Thank you very much for watching and happy listening.
There must have been an angel by my side. Something heavenly led me to you.
On the bass, Mr. Pretty Boy Keisuke-san. On the guitar, Onima. Yeah.
There must have been an angel
On the bass, Mr. Korigoe Keisuke-san. On the guitar, Oimo Yosuke-san.